schools. Again, she will be here to answer your questions as well as present for you what is going on in that department. So let me stop presenting, introduce you to Safia, and again, please use the chat if you have any questions. Here we go.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning, and thanks for the introduction, Ellen. So today we're going to jump into the GoCPS application process. So I'll just go ahead and begin presenting my screen with you so that you can also see the slides. Are you guys able to see that okay?
Not yet.
Okay, let's try this again. Okay, let's try that again.
Okay, you're presenting.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect. So we'll just jump right on in, and as Ellen said, we'll answer the questions that you have. And if we can't answer your questions during this presentation, then you can also send an email or give us a call at the Office of Access and Enrollment, and we'll do our best to get answers to your questions. So we'll just jump right on in to talk about the high school application process. So the high school application process is broken down into different phases. And we'll talk about GoCPS, which is the platform that allows families to apply to basically every CPS school and program just using one site, one application, and one deadline. The process typically takes place in late September and early October, and then it ends in mid-December. The application dates for 2021-22 school year, those will be posted once they're finalized on the GoCPS website, which is go.cps.edu. So we'll jump into the phases that the application process is divided into. It includes the learn phase, the research phase, the explore phase, apply phase, and selection phase. So with the learn phase, that's when you learn about all of our application processes, and then you jump into the research phase. That's when our schools, let's see here. Am I getting, okay. That is getting a little feedback there. Okay, so you guys can still see the screen, right?
We can still see the screen.
Okay, good, perfect. Sorry about that. I was getting some feedback. Don't want to miss anything. So with the explore phase, that's when we'll talk about the programs that are best fit for your student. Then you go into the apply phase, which is when you apply to the programs and receive school offers. And then there's the selection phase, which is when we issue results for the schools, the programs to which you applied. So then during the application period, families can apply to high school, elementary school, and pre-K. For high school, that's all district high schools and all charter high schools. For elementary school, that's all district elementary schools. And then for pre-K, that includes 3 magnet programs. So we'll jump into the learn phase now. And during this phase, there's a number of important actions that applicant families will need to complete. So first, we'll talk about the subscribe to the GoCPS mailing list. And then this is also the phase when you get detailed information and explanations about all the CPS application processes. Then you'll be able to track important dates and events related to application, testing, and enrollment. You'll be able to access information, informative videos, brochures, news, and community engagement materials, and also answer important questions that you have using the frequently asked questions. So when we go into the research phase, that's when you'll find CPS schools and programs using the multiple search and display options. You'll be able to find your neighborhood school using your computer, or you can also use your mobile phone's geolocation. Then you'll be able to view school profiles with detailed background, contact performance program, and admissions data, and select and compare up to 4 different schools side by side. So there's some important actions to take also in the explore phase. So we'll jump into that. This is when you would activate a student and create a family profile, review a list of schools and programs that the student is eligible to apply to, learn about which schools are the best fit for your student, and then access data and statistics, success data and statistics about CPS as a district, and read detailed descriptions and information about school programs and program types. So when we go into the apply phase, this is when you would you would attend the open house events, select and rank the schools and the programs that you'll apply to, complete the application, and schedule and attend admission screenings if required. So the last phase is the selection phase. This is when you get the round 1 results and you accept or decline the offers. You receive round 1 waitlist offers if available, and then you'll also accept or decline those. You'll participate in round 2 or other subsequent application periods if it's offered, and then you receive round 2 results and accept or decline those offers. And then you can also receive round 2 waitlist offers if available, and then accept or decline those. So now we go into the basic concepts for applying for high school. Earlier, I mentioned the GoCPS search. So every Chicago address has a designated neighborhood school. So if you look at the screen here, you'll notice that in red writing, there's a neighborhood school for K through 8 listed, which is Sherman. And then there's a neighborhood school for 9 through 12, which is Tilden, based on the address that we put in, that 900 West 47th Street in the 60609 zip code. So for everyone that has a student attending any of the schools within GoCPS, you have a neighborhood school, and you don't have to apply for those schools. You have a guaranteed seat. So we'll talk about that a little bit in the next slides. So students are guaranteed a seat in the general education program of their neighborhood school, and they do not have to apply. So if it's a general education program, you have a seat at your neighborhood school. I know one of the questions that come up is, okay, my neighborhood school is a selective enrollment school, so do I have a guaranteed seat, or how do I apply? So the answer for that would be you still have a guaranteed seat if that's your neighborhood school, but it's only for the general education program within that school. If you want to be a part of the selective enrollment program, you do have to go through the selective enrollment process to apply for those programs. Otherwise, that neighborhood school would be an automatic guaranteed seat without applying to the general education program. So there's hundreds of high school program options that were created to meet the academic and career interests of students. And these programs are divided into 2 major categories. I did mention the selective enrollment programs, but there's also the choice programs. So with the choice programs, this includes neighborhood schools, magnet schools, CTE schools, service leadership academies, international baccalaureate schools, and charter schools. And then the CTE programs at Westinghouse, Jones, Hancock, South Shore, and then the IB program at South Shore. For selective enrollment programs, there's 11 selective enrollment schools. That includes Brooks, Hancock, Jones, Lane, Lindblom, King, Northside, Peyton, South Shore, Westinghouse, and Whitney Young. Another question that often comes up that you may have is, okay, well, for the selective enrollment programs, how do I know which one is in my neighborhood? So South Shore, King, Brooks, Lindblom, are all on the south side. Westinghouse and Hancock are more west, northwest, and Peyton is centrally located in the city. For the north side, we have Young and Jones, and then for far north, we have Lane and Northside. So we'll move on to the next slide here, and we'll talk about the...
You do have a question here in the chat. What is the selective enrollment process during COVID?
That's a good question. Thanks for that question. That is something that's still being worked on as we speak. I did reach out to the team, Office of Access and Enrollment, and I got an update that they should have more information. They should have a solidified process maybe by the end of this week or sometime next week. So I wish I had a better answer, but I know they've been working tirelessly on what that process looks like, especially like for auditions, if it's going to be virtual, how does that look? So we will definitely keep you posted. Just be sure to subscribe to the GoCPS mailing list. We're going to talk about that next because you want to make sure that you are signed up and subscribed to the mailing list for all updates, and that would be included. I know that usually selective enrollment is also based on NWEA scores, so they're working on that entire process, the dates for NWEA, for testing, for virtual auditions. All of that is still in progress, so we should have an answer very shortly. It's not the answer that's like a definite date or anything, but hopefully that gives you a little bit of comfort knowing that that answer is definitely coming very shortly.
Thank you.
Thank you. So let's see. We're talking about the choice program. So yes, for choice programs, you could select up to 20 programs, and then for selective enrollment, you can select up to 6 programs. For choice programs, you can rank those programs in order of preference. So you should rank your first preference as number 1 when you're doing your ranking to your least preferred program. So you have 20 options there that you can fill. And then for selective enrollment, you also want to rank those in order of preference. For choice programs, you receive the single best offer at most. So that's why it's very important to select the program that you really want and rank that as your number 1 preference. Same with selective enrollment. So now we're going to go into the subscribe and activation code letters that I was mentioning earlier with the mailing list. It's really important that you do subscribe to the mailing list because you'll get all of the updates for GoCPS, any announcements about the 2021-22 school year and application process. And that direct address is go.cps.edu/contact. I don't know if we can put that in the chat for easy access, but it's just go.cps.edu/contact. Also, if you just go to the go.cps.edu site and scroll all the way to the bottom, the form is also there. So this is the first important activity for the application process to 9th grade. So you want to make sure you subscribe. Parents and guardians should sign up so that they can be involved and directly informed about their child's application process. So CPS students that are 13 years of age or older should subscribe using a personal email address or their parent or guardian's email address. It's important to note not to use your cps.edu email address. Reason being is that we already have that email address on file, so we'll automatically send information to those email addresses, but we don't have the personal email address or your parent or guardian's email address, and you may be checking that more frequently. So if your student is under 13, only the parent and guardian should subscribe using their personal email address. Again, you don't need to use your cps.edu email address because we have that. So moving on to the activation code letters. For students applying to 9th grade, the activation codes are used to add the student to the GoCPS account. In the late summer, which we're in late summer, early fall, you'll be able to create accounts and activate their students using these codes. And this will also allow you to see a list of programs that they are eligible to apply to. So you'll see a sample of what that looks like here on the screen. So when we go into the actual activation code letters and the no activation code letters, you'll see on the screen in green that if the student has never been activated in GoCPS, if they don't have an application account, then they should have received a letter containing an activation code. And then in red, if the student has been previously activated in GoCPS application account, then they should have received a letter stating that no activation code is needed for the student to apply. So the codes will either be mailed, it will be either mailed to each 8th grade student's home address as it appears in Aspen, or it'll be distributed directly to the students at school. But since we can't do that right now, then that option will be different. So it's probably just going to go to the home address. So when the distribution method and timeline have been finalized, the information will be communicated with families and schools. So please make sure that the student address information is accurate and up to date in Aspen so that you receive that. So if a family misplaces their activation code, it can be retrieved through the following processes. You can either call the Office of Access and Enrollment at 773-553-2060 from a number that's on the student's Aspen student information file, or you can contact the school counselor, and the activation codes are accessible on the student roster on dashboard. So that concludes the first portion of this presentation. Again, if you have questions and we can't answer it immediately, feel free to email us at gocps@cps.edu so that we can assist you immediately, or you can call us at 773-553-2060. At this time, I'd like to open up for questions that you guys may have.
So you can either put questions in the chat if you'd like, or you can unmute yourself and ask the questions if you prefer. Nobody? You were so thorough that there are no questions.
I mean, I know that a couple of the questions that I get pretty often, I try to, proactively talk about that, because those are things that a lot of families are concerned about right now. And, we're in different times right now. So I just want to do the best that I can to proactively share whatever information that I do have. And then whatever information we don't have today, like I said, the Office of Access and Enrollment, they're working very hard on getting answers regarding the selective enrollment process, what that's going to look like during COVID, while we're in virtual learning, and what the audition or testing process looks like. So, yeah.
I do have a quick question.
Go ahead.
When are the kids going to start receiving those letters, the one that you're just talking about?
The activation code letters, so those should be coming out. I don't have an exact date. I would need to follow up with Office of Access and Enrollment, or you can also give them a call. If you call them after this meeting, somebody should be able to give you a more specific timeline. I know that they're working on dates and timelines. It's just not solidified yet. So I want to say soon. Usually it's late summer, early fall. We're at the end of summer now, so I would think within the next couple of weeks. But just to be certain, we can follow up with you, or you can give the office a call, and they may have a more specific timeline for you.
Okay, thank you so much. I will call them. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Good question. Do we have any more questions?
Yeah, we have a couple questions in the chat. Sorry, join late. Did you already discuss how selective enrollment is going to work with no spring MAP scores?
So that's a great question. Yeah, so we briefly touched on the selective enrollment process. We know that there's no scores, from no previous scores, and we haven't had the testing, but we don't know what that's going to look like 100% just yet. I know the team is working on getting updates out to everyone sometime this week or next week. So if you are not subscribed to the mailing list for GoCPS, I would encourage you to subscribe right away. That way, when that information is released to everyone, then you will receive the updates on specific timing and what the exact process looks like while we're in virtual learning.
Okay, and then you missed the first portion of the presentation. It will be posted. So we have a YouTube channel that we're trying to get all of these uploaded to, as well as we have a parent university website. So yes, this information will be shared for anything that you missed.
Thank you.
And you could see past recordings are been posted in the chat. So you can go to the chat and you could see where the past recordings are, as well as our YouTube channel. Thank you, Sandra. Any other questions?
I don't think I mentioned the selective enrollment school entry that we normally have in place, but normally it's based on the NWEA score, the selective enrollment test scores in 7th grade, scores in the core subjects. Once everything is finalized, then we'll know what the process looks like for this 2021-22 school year. But normally that's the process. So once we have NWE test dates and, test process and what that looks like, then we'll share that with everyone.
So stay tuned. It's coming.
Yes, very soon.
Very soon.
We're closer to answers today than we were before.
That's right. Great minds are working this out.
Yes.
Anything else? Any other questions? Anything you'd like to share? Okay. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you for being here. You can reach out again to Norma or anybody in the FACE department if there's anything we can do. If not, have a great week. Good luck getting back to school, and join from some of our the Google 101 will really help you access and learn about Google Classroom, as well as Ready, Set, Go, setting up a learning space. So we hope to see you again. Thank you so much, Sophia.
Thank you.
Yeah, take care,
Hopefully
guys.
this helped. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Okay. Don't forget to fill out the evaluation that's in the chat as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.